Oh shit. I shouldn't have clicked that. Hey guys, quick video build overview kind of thing for the energy shield based crossbow Witchhunter build. Now I finally actually got the gear and that kind of items to put this together, so we're going to make a quick build overview for what I've done so far in case anyone's interested. Now I'm playing this on a Witchhunter because I do have a Witchhunter, and that doesn't mean to say that you need to be a Witchhunter to actually make this build. I think it is quite modular the way we set it up, and most builds or ascendancies can actually use this setup if you just want to go play a CI build. If you're playing a Deadeye Ranger kind of build and you just don't want to play life base anymore, you can still go and do that with this setup. Also, right now I'm building pure energy shield, so no armor, no evasion, none of that kind of stuff. But there is probably an evasion hybrid evasion energy shield version that might be pretty nice, I think. So might try that in the future, but for now we're just doing pure energy shield to test that out. All right, so let's run this map over here. We got decay, we got a boss, so it should be pretty fun. All right, so overall energy shield, it feels pretty good to play. I would say it's kind of I don't know, a little bit interesting because so we do have quite a lot of HP compared to playing just like a life build, right? Because we have so much energy shield, and we also have the Grim Feast giving us even more life, right? So let's just quickly do the expedition as well. We get the thing, we'll just put everything everywhere, and I think we're good to go. So yeah, so that feels really good, but I guess the downside is first of all, recovery, like energy shield recovery is not super good, right? There's like kind of limited sources of recovery, and we don't really have that much what would you say, recharge, like speed reduction, so you pretty much have to kind of just like dodge around whenever you're kind of low on energy shield. I am also using the energy barrier support, so whenever I do get stunned while I'm using like the galvanic shards, my recharge will start, so that's quite nice. But in general, the way this kind of plays is you pretty much just try to kill everything before it can actually hit you. I'm used to playing my my Sparker, so I'm like pushing the wrong buttons. But yeah, that's kind of how it played, right? Because and then you just pick up all of the little ghost shrouds or the ghost whatever these are called, the Grim Feast things, and that kind of keeps you going, right? It's kind of like your sustain. But also one other, I guess, kind of downside is like stun and freeze. Pretty annoying for CI builds. I guess we get around freeze sort of with the charm, and stun, I guess we do have a little bit of, you gain energy shield as stun thresholds, so that does kind of help out a little bit, but you still do get stunned quite a bit. But yeah, it's nice, not, you can stand in the volatile plants and they're not going to do anything, so that's quite nice. So quite a lot of quality of life, but it's not like, I don't know, there's still some things I actually don't really like about it. And I think getting blink, a little bit more mobility is actually going to be quite nice. And then also, I guess, getting, probably investing a little bit more into the recharge time reduction, or just getting all the way up to like 10,000 energy shield. Alright, here is the boss. Well, we got some rares over here we can go kill later, but let's first take out the boss. I think we might still have the wrong gems in here, but I think it might be okay. Wait, where does he go? There he is. Alright, not that bad, considering we didn't really even put our correct links inside. Actually turned out a lot better than I thought. So Map+Boss DPS, not bad. I mean, we're playing the Hands of Wisdom in action, so oh wait, wrong ammo. So I guess it has to be good, right? Oh yeah, so look, that was the volatile plants. They did nothing, so that was pretty cool. Alright, so let's finish off the map and get out of here. Alright, so let's go over some of the gear that you're going to need to run this. You could see, first of all, Ghost Wraith. This is probably the cheapest way to get a lot of energy shield right now. This is equal to probably about 850 to 900 energy shield base body armor. See here, I have one here that's almost 800 base energy shield. If we put this on, it's about 200 energy shield less than the Ghost Writhe. And this Ghost Writhe doesn't even have the proper corruption. You can get it up to 61% of your maximum life converted to energy shield. So this probably is going to be the cheapest, like best way just to get tons of energy shield. Okay, so that's that. And then for the helmet, you just want a big energy shield helmet with resistances, probably some stats if you're running Hand of Wisdom in action. And then for the amulet, probably want to get the increased energy shield, flat energy shield, all proj skills, and then attributes, and then I guess spirit if you can. That's probably going to be the way to go for these amulets. They're going to be kind of expensive, I guess. I bought this one for about 2 divines. So actually, if you don't get any spirit on it, it's quite cheap. But if you do want to run blink, you're going to have to get spirit somewhere, like you mentioned, either on a body armor, something like this. Although if you do get on the body armor, it is going to be a little bit harder to get energy shield. So you can see that you'll probably be sitting around 6k or so energy shield. Okay, after that, for the rings, rings are pretty much going to be, you know, just lightning damage, flat lightning damage, stats, resistances, that kind of stuff. And then for the gloves, if you're running Hand of Wisdom in action, you just run this. If you're not running Hand of Wisdom in action, then you run a pair of gloves like this. So energy shield base glove with just attack speed, lots of energy shield, maybe flat added lightning damage if you can, then some resistances, maybe some intelligence. And if we take a look at our DPS, right now we're at 64k on the shock burst round bolts, on the pulses, about 43,000. Put on these kind of gloves like this is probably sort of the stats you're going to have, maybe a little bit more, because like we mentioned, we won't have to actually go spec into all of these kind of like stat areas, and we can get some more just generic attack damage modifiers. Okay, so for the belt, Ingenuity is probably the belt you want. If you don't have one of these, then you just run any kind of belt with I guess, I don't know, just probably just resistances and that kind of stuff, and just anything that will cap your resistances so you can get stats some other places. I guess getting strength is also quite nice, because strength is going to give you more energy shield, because strength gives you more life, and then more of that gets converted to energy shield from the Ghost Writhe. So getting life on your gear is actually quite nice if you can. Boots are also the same thing, just energy shield, resistances. If you can get intelligence on there, and that's sort of the gear. For the crossbow, same thing here, just high physical or, you know, high DPS, high attack speed weapon. And for the offhand, since I am still using the Stormcaller arrow setup, do want to get a bow and make sure there's no pierce anywhere on any of your kind of gear for your bow set. Otherwise, your Stormcaller arrow is just going to go through things and it won't explode and shock targets. Okay, so that is sort of the gear setups. So as for the charm, yeah, definitely get a, I prioritize, I guess, a freezing charm over a stun charm, because freeze seems to last quite a bit longer than stun. Okay, so let's go over some of the skills, guys. Now, I actually am finally running Fresh Clip inside my shock burst rounds. And normally when I'm mapping, guys, I'm actually putting the martial tempo in galvanic shards. So my links are going to look like this. We're going to have Innervate, we're going to have Fork, Primal Armament, Energy Barrier, and then Martial Tempo. Energy Barrier, quite nice when you're mapping, because if you get stunned when you're attacking, then your recharge kicks in, and that's quite, you know, it's pretty nice sustain, especially in breaches and that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's sort of what we're running when I'm running in maps, pretty much. And then when I go for a pinnacle boss, then I'll just put this gem into here, the Martial Tempo, into Shock Burst rounds. And as for Shock Burst rounds, basically I run Concentrated Effect, Elemental Focus, Lightning Infusion, Fresh Clip, and Martial Tempo. Now, if you don't want to swap things around, then you can run something like, what's a good one? You could run Long Shot, run Acceleration, run Close Combat, you can run Mobility in your Galvanic Shards, or even you could put Heft in here like this, right? So you could run any kind of combo like this, and you won't have to swap around. Downside is, I guess, your Galvanic Shards is going to be a little bit slow, but it is what it is. And yeah, so that is the links over here. As for the cast on shock, we have our Voltaic Mark, Conductivity, Persistence, Impetus, and Heightened Curse. And then for the Herald setup, just the Herald of Thunder with Magnified Effect, Lightning Penetration, and Precision. I mean, these kind of aren't really necessary, but We just threw them in because we had extra links. Herald of Ash, like I said, this is probably going to go as soon as I get enough, how would you say, mana for Blink. So once I get Blink, Herald of Ash is going to go. And then we have the Grim Feast. Alright, so for Stormcaller Arrow, we have Lightning Exposure, Fast Forward, and Conduction, so we have some more chance to shock. And probably for the last link, I want to put in the Strip Away over here, so we get a little bit more exposure effect. And then for Emergency Reload, same kind of thing here with the cooldown recovery, more damage. And Blink, when we do get Blink up and running, I'm going to move out the Ingenuity into Blink like this, and we're going to run Second Wind and Ingenuity and Blink. Right, so we do have to set up our auras for each weapon slot over here in order to run all the auras we're going to be running. So you can see, first of all, our Cast on Shock is only enabled on weapon set 2, and our Herald of Thunder is enabled on both weapons. Herald of Ash is only enabled on weapon 1, and Grim Feast is also only enabled on weapon set 1. So what this is going to do is when I swap over to my bow, see, it's going to disable Grim Feast and Herald of Thunder and allow me to actually run Cast on Shock and Herald of Thunder at the same time. So this is very important, otherwise you're not going to have enough spirit to reserve your Cast on Shock. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the gems. Let's go over the passive tree real quick. So first of all, we are just going all the way around the world once again to pick up all the important nodes, and it's because that's all that really matters, right? And we're using one of these controlled metamorphosis ones. You want one that says a medium small ring, because it's going to allow you to pick up Polymath, Jack of all trades, and later on if you want you can pick up Sand in the Eyes and Blinding Flesh, all with this one little node here. Another good spot for this exact same size would be in this slot here. It's going to allow you to pick up Lightning Rod. You can also pick up Shrapnel, you can also pick up Adrenaline Rush, and you can also pick up this short shot node if you put it in here. So that's another nice spot for it, but I've chose this one because it's taking, you know, a lot of these travel nodes. I don't have to go pick up all of these nodes here. It saves me a lot of points. And then we're going all the way up around here to pick up some of these nodes here, some lightning nodes, some int nodes, some more lightning nodes, and a bunch of energy shield nodes. Now, one of the other versions I was testing would come over here and grab this stuff here. This is quite a lot more energy shield. This will put you up to well over 8,000 energy shield. You can also grab this stuff here, and with this area here and these energy shield nodes here, you go all the way up to like 10,000 energy shield. So you can actually drop some damage, pick up more energy shield if you want. But that's kind of it. So for the weapon swaps, the red one is the crossbow, and I'm picking up just some lightning damage over here. And on the green one, which is my bow set up for the Cast on Shock with the Stormcaller Arrow, this one is just going all the way into a lot of shock magnitude and shock duration over here, and then down here. Right, and then also we do have some reload speed on the crossbow set. So that's pretty much it for that. For the jewels, there's only 2 stats you really need. It's going to be increase energy shield and increase elemental damage on pretty much every single jewel. Each one of these jewels provides quite a lot of energy shield. You can see about 300 or so energy shield per jewel, so they're pretty important, so make sure you get some good ones there. And ideally though, for the last suffix you want to get shock magnitude, and that's going to be pretty nice. But that's pretty much it for the jewels. They're all exactly the same. Okay, as for stats, so we are playing the Hand of Wisdom in action. As you can see, our stats are not very good. I guess because we do not have the unique body armor, all the stat stacking gear we could be using. So I guess you could actually put those into the build too. You'll be at about 4,000 energy shield or so with that kind of setup. So, but probably will have quite a bit more damage. So maybe you can try that if you want. Right now I'm not really doing that, just putting on the gloves for a little bit of extra damage. So I've decided to focus on intelligence mainly, so getting 200 dex, because every 25 dex we get 3% more attack speed, so get to about 200 dex, and then after that put everything into intelligence, because intelligence is actually giving a little bit more damage, because we also have this pure power node over here giving increased lightning damage, as well as the flat that we get from the Hand of Wisdom in action. Alright, so let's talk about the Ascendancy. Ascendancy, like I mentioned, you don't really have to be a Witchhunter to actually play this, and Witchhunter doesn't really offer that much for this build except for the explosions. Explosions on Witchhunter, really good. Can't use Sorcery Ward. Sorcery Ward is very strong as well, but we don't have any armor evasion, so we can't use it. So the only thing that's actually useful for us in this Ascendancy is going to be, well, I guess, the explosions. I guess Culling Strike's okay. Decimating Strike, pretty shit, and then the Witchbane concentration is pretty bad as well, so everything here is just bad, and the only good thing is the explosions. So that's it. Probably be stronger on a gemling or that kind of stuff, but anyways, this is the character I have, so that's what we're doing. And yeah, that's it. That's kind of it for the build.
Who's next? Beautiful.